the style of your code. It's mostly about graphic things. So for that, you really have to have a tool, easy to use, flexible, simple. You don't have to be annoying by your Webpack or your setup. You have to just play with code to create graphic things. So like Max already said, we often use Canvas Sketch, which is a really, really good tool. It's a command line tool to set up everything for you on a trading server. It's just one file, so it's easy to read, it's easy to go through, and I'm gonna use Three.js to create a 3D, 3D stuff. It's a framework very used a lot for 3D stuff in the web. So let's continue with that. And yeah, so right now you have your idea, you almost know what you want to do, which is again really important to have before start to code. Yeah, we can start to code. So this is my Canvas Sketch command line tool to create a template from Three.js. This is what you will have first. What is good here is you already a 3D scene already set up with some tools like orbit control to control your scene, some lights, etc., and raise the code. So here again, just one file with everything you need. Do you see it correctly? Yeah, cool. So you have your camera, you have the orbit control, you have the first code here. It's a really good start for people who don't really know Three.js. It's a really good beginning because you see what you really need. And also, of course, here you will have the render method, which is a method called every frame. Max already explained to you what is an animation frame rate, and thanks to this method, you can rotate, for instance, here your cube. Thanks to this link, the cube rotates. So then, yeah, you have your setup. We have the idea, so the bee, who continue to move as a train. Let's go to the next step. So I will I will explain to you each step I create by going through my commits. That will be easier, because if I try to code at the same time, I will have some difficulties. So let's go through the next step, which is create your environment, create your background, what you want to set up first, so the letter, etc. And I will start to go through the code. So what I will show you the difference. That will be easier to see. So here we go. So what I changed for this step. I create a class in another file, so I can show you that later, to create a letter. That will be just a class to instantiate every time I want a new letter. I also use another camera controller, which is you already saw it. It's when you move the mouse that smooth the entire scene. It's something I made and I really like it. And I had some color I want to use, so I already set up the kind of ambience, kind of mood I want to have. Update, adding a background, move the camera position. So yeah, here I instantiate my mouse control, adding some fog. I will show you later what's happened, and update the light. And here, most important thing is I create my first letter. For what I use FrontLoader, which is made by including Three.js, with a font file just to create the geometry of the shape of your letter. So with only those lines, you can have a 3D letter in Three.js. So here we go. I think I'll show you all updates. Yeah, cool. And this is the render. So you see, for instance, here you have a kind of gradient on the letter that's called the fog. So deeper will be the object, and darker it will be, which is a good kind of 3D render. And here you see the different kind of mouse control I implement. So I have my base, my good base to continue to explore it. And right now, let's create the train. So to have something animated. Go through the commit, and I will do the same to show you the difference. There we go. So do you guys want to see the render first or the code first? Whatever. The code first? Okay. So what I update here, I just add here a way to generate my letters easily. Create a function called add letters, which I instantiate a new instance of my letter in what I saved in an array here. That's really easy. And instance of the letter I will explain to you that later. And then here in the render method, so the method called every frame, I here create a way to add a new letter, but not every frame because it will be too much, but create a kind of interval between them. So create a train effect. So for that, I use just a variable that I increment every frame. And when this variable is bigger than my interval, I just add a new letter. That's pretty easy to understand. And then I update. I can show you the letter class. So I update my letter class, and then when my letter, it's important to have when my letter is too far. So when it's dead, I will remove it because 3D engine is really you have to keep it performant in any way. Even if it's for an experiment, you have to keep it really performant, so remove every object you don't really need, etc., etc. This is my letter class. So a pretty easy class, just I extend it as a mesh. A mesh is a combination of a geometry and a material, which creates the 3D object itself, so later you already see. In the update method, I just update the Z position. So if you will see after, but it's easy to understand that the letter will go to the background, go to the back of the scene, frame after frame. Sorry. So let's see the render. So here we go. I have like my kind of train. And here, for instance, if I update, go to let's do okay, it's here, interval. Here, if I increment my interval time, yeah, it's really too big, but you see the interval going bigger. So I can play with it to have the render I like. It's really important to try to have every number inside the variable which you can update easily to have the render you like. And if I put the interval to 0, every frame I will have a new letter. So it will look like an object. You can see here the number of frame I have, which is also a kind of good render. So let's continue. Next step is adding interaction. That's okay. We can have good graphic render, but we are developers. So I really appreciate when some creative people, creative developers or even developers, add some interaction with the piece of code they made, because we are developers. We have to add interaction and functionalities. So let's go through. You locate your. Just have to remove my updates. What I updates here? With that. Okay. Let's go back to the next commit. Create the trail is done. Beam. All right, here we go. So what I updates here? Nothing. Oh yes. beam. So adding interaction, that's JavaScript. So it's like in every project you add listener to track the mouse moves, the mouse when you click on the mouse and when you release your mouse. So what I did mostly here is when the mouse moves, I compute the position of the mouse in a normalized way. That means when the mouse is close to the left, that will be 0, and when it will be on right, that will be 1. It's easier to control what you will do. Yeah, normalized variable, it's really interesting because you can, for instance, it's between 0 and 1, so you can multiply easily with another number to increase it, decrease it. It's easy to control. So when the mouse moves, I will save inside this property the new position I want, and when I click on it, I will reduce the scale of my letter, and when I release, I will go to a normal way. And here, I just send those new properties each time I update, I render a new frame. So this is a render right now. When I click on it, I have a tiny here, and when I move here, and we start to create something really cool. A cool thing with Canvas Sketch is you can stop a frame by pressing space. So here I press space, and I have a kind of render. So I can, for instance, record things, stop it. Like I like that one, I will save that one. And you also have like some tools to record video, record GIFs with Canvas Sketch. That can be it's a really good tool for creative people because it's mostly for graphic things. So here I have my interaction, but I'm not satisfied by the movement. It's really like, it's not smooth. For instance, when I click on it, it's like it's just you click, that's the scale change. So I want to smooth it. How can I do that? It's a tip I always used. It's a way to smooth values, which is used everywhere, even when you has value. Sorry. So let's see the difference. Close it. Whoa, this would be really difficult to read. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, here we go. So I will just explain this part. So this method is called in every render. And thanks to that, I will update frame by frame my properties. So it's a really kind of algorithm often used. You use the targeted position, so the mouse position. You remove of it the current letter position, so you will have the difference between your mouse and your object. And then you will just multiply by velocity, and velocity you see here is a tiny number, so the distance will be reduced. So every frame you will be closer and closer to the target position, but in a smooth way. Thank you. In a smooth way. This kind of algorithm is used everywhere. Every time you see a smooth thing that's done like that. Every easing can be done like that. It's just different type of computation. But the base of every ease is made with this this algorithm. So right now, what's happened here is you see that just take more time to come. And it's really easy to update. If I update my velocity, if I reduce the number here, that will take way more time to come. And yeah, for the scale, for instance, you see that's smooth right now. So here, for instance, for the scale, if I do a really tiny number, No? It doesn't want, okay. No. Yeah, maybe it's not supposed to happen. Ah, yeah, because those values are not my velocities. That's why it's here. So my velocities values are here. So here, if I reduce the scale velocity, no, again, okay. You have to imagine that. I don't know why. I don't know why it doesn't work. Fuck. I know what I was doing. We were just doing that here. Scale vel 0.00001. I want to. Oh, again, what the hell? Okay, maybe it's not. I know why. Okay, give me a last chance. It's because I'm not on the current file.
This is why you don't do live coding, people.
Oh yeah, really it's my first time. Sorry.
In the language is now his first language.
Oh yeah, right now it's like really slow. So let's doing that. Yeah, you see, I reducing the number, so that's right now too slow for me. I don't really like it, but it's kind of, you can really control what you like as a render, thanks to that. So yeah, we have something smooth. We have the effect we wanted. Let's go improve that. I don't know what I did after that. Oh yeah, so you can update your code every time. So going through like each number, update each variables, but raise some tools to doing that directly on your screen. And this tool, these tools is called, I will show you that. GUI. Already you show them that? Okay, cool, something new. So it's a GUI here, and thanks to that, you can easily update your variable. So here you see when I change the slide, the render here will change, which is really interesting for us because if every time you update the code instead and see the render, you lose time. You need to go fast. So let's see what it is. No, that seems to be. Let me see if it's updated or not. Yes, there we go. It's here. So here I don't show you the code. It's pretty easy to use, and you already probably see too much code. So here, for instance, I have a variable called interval. You already saw what's happened, and if I update it right now, I will. It would be better if I go in this way. So here I can dynamically update my variable, which is really interesting for us to have the render you really like. It's much easier and much faster to set up what you want. So scale down will be like the size of my hair when I click, really tiny. I can go through, change what I scale, and it's really nice to update if you want. For instance, you have colors, so you can set up new colors on it, like trying to have something different, and you can set up them. That's not really beautiful. Yes, there. The speed of the train, so to add some looks, and you can go every variable you want. You can spend a lot of time on that. It's difficult to find, to stop you sometimes. So here, if I do, that's different. Okay, so it's a really interesting tool to use. And it's also something really interesting for clients, because if a client is not sure of what he has, and if you want to show him something and go with him to update it, etc., you can give him a kind of prototype with those kind of tools, and he can manage itself which kind of render you want to have, or which kind of what you really like. It's a good tool to communicate with as a client who wants something special and you don't really know what you want. So let's continue. Yeah, the issue is it doesn't save. I don't set up that to save on my code right now, but yeah, don't forget to save your value, the value you have here in your code. So yeah, almost all I want here. If we look at my previous scribble, which is here, yeah, it's almost the idea I wanted to present. So I can stop it right now, but I will just show you some improvements. So I add some particles on it around. I will show the render directly. So around you can see it here, and those kind of tiny elements can improve your render and add some some depth on your render. And again, if you move your mouse and you play with it, you add more movement, more interaction. Yeah, the user seems to constantly play with, have the control of what you have here. So yeah, maybe, do you want to see the code? That's okay. No, that's okay. No, that's okay. Let's see the code. Okay, boss. So here we're doing like show is different. Yeah, I just instance a new class. So where is the class here? So here it's another class. I control it by a class. It's easier to read. When I create every sprite here, so I create my tiny particles, and I instantiate it number of particles like 100 times. So I can here easily add more to have a different kind of render. And every frame, it's easy to understand. Again, I just go through every of them. Too far for me, I just go back to the beginning, which is a different way to create an infinite movement, different that one, because you always use the same number of particles. They just go back every time. So yes, pretty hits. And another kind of interaction I had, which is pretty revert this commit. Here is, so it's called add cadence interaction. So add another kind of interaction when you type something. And here I'll show the render. So here, when you type, you will update your letters. So this is the final experiment we made for Reflektor.
Oh, yeah.
And here with those kind of tools, which is also interesting for clients, is they can create their own graphical, and they say, okay, I like that, okay, I prefer that. And you can create some, by playing with those kind of things, you can create something you didn't really accept. Like the G made by Max, he didn't probably accept to have this render. But by adding some parameters, by trying to continue to play with those parameters, you can create something totally new and something you didn't really accept. Okay, and I think it's it. Guide interaction. Yeah, that's it. So we have our final render, and we can push that on 36 days of time. Yeah, just have a cool graphic things. Why it's interesting to do those kind of stuff? Because it seems to be really useless. Yeah, that's just beautiful, but a designer can do something much better with 3D software, or he know and he learn all of this professional life, or doing much more wonder than that. What's cool for us and for developers doing that is because you can provide from clients new things no other developers can understand, or also new possibilities for designers. What I often do, and why I call myself creative developers, is because I often going through clients or graphics on creative people to show them what we can do with codes, what is possible to do what we can create, like, oh, we can add some interaction like that, because creatives sometimes don't have the knowledge of what is possible, what is not possible, what we can do, what we cannot, etc., etc. It's a way for a client to either improve the project he think, or also to have a render he really appreciate, because you can have more interaction with the client or the creative. For instance, I often work with Thomas like that. You think about something, I show him some cool stuff I already see developed, or I did a quick prototype. It's always it's have to be quick, because you have to interact with a designer pretty quick. So I do something during the day, and I show him, hey, look at, what do you think about that? Oh, we can improve the color, okay. And Thomas can play with that and say, yeah, I feel like it's better like that, etc., etc. Yeah, a creative developer is not, for myself, I don't think myself as a designer or creative. I'm mostly just a link between the creation and the design process and the development. Sorry. So it's mostly for why we try to practice those kind of projects, because it can be really useful at the end. And also, you try new technologies. For instance, right now I'm working with Unity and augmented reality tools to start to think about it for future projects. I've played with open frameworks. I try to play with all technology stuff I find, to have a global thinking of what we can create and what we can provide from clients as developer, because we still continue to be developer, still develop, and I still create websites. But thanks to those kind of stuff, I can also go through them and say, oh, we can do that, or we can add more interaction, and it can be more interesting for your users, etc. You can be part of the UX process.
I have a question, Jeremy.
You have a question?
No, you have a question.
Who have a question?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry. Same with me if I do.
Can you talk about your experience using Spark AR?
Yeah.
Trying to framework.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So Spark here is a software made by Facebook for Instagram.
No, it's fine.
Okay. I can show them I will show them the demo we made. Andrew, don't look at my personal stuff.
You're hiding your country.
Yeah, I should do it. Yeah, for instance, when I came here, I never worked with Spark, but we had a client who wanted to have something, a filter, but he don't really know what he want to have with software, etc. So it's for me a part of my work to look through new creative and technological things. And we made this filter with Spark. It was for American Gods. Yeah, that's just you can choose between, like, if you are new gods or old gods, etc. And as creative developer, you just have to go quick on new technology and see what you can do, etc. Because yeah, I went 2 days on the client's agency to work with them, work with 3D people who work on 3D stuff, to play with the prototype I made for them, show them what are the possibilities, show them what is not possible to, just explain to them, like, guys, this is not possible, the model should be with less vertices, it's possible to add that and think about add a texture on it. They know all of those parts, but you can have, like, you can provide them technical solutions to try to continue to have the cool idea. So this is the 5 filters we made for them, so for Facebook. But we continue to, so this is the one we're already showing. We show my head. And this is with another software made by Snapchat to create Snapchat filters. Yeah, it's a prototype for us. And if a client come with us with an idea of, yeah, I want something in augmented reality, but I don't know what's going on, actually, if it's possible or not, we can show them things. And we can present them like, yeah, it's here. This why prototyping is really important too. It's not only for fun. It can be really interesting. And if you want to see the, just I will show you quickly, whatever, what it's looking on what is open anyway. Yeah, you see it's like a 3D software, but you can code in it. But yeah, this is Parker, and you can work with it. Yeah, and that looks like a 3D software. So
What's the language?
Language for spec, they have a specific language based on JavaScript, but they create a kind of framework. It's really special, but it's well documented. So it's not here. That's not bad. Okay, but yeah, you can see some of the documentation, but it's kind of JavaScript. Yeah. That's it. Lens Studio is really interesting too. For me, it's much more powerful. You can do a lot of new cool stuff like mapping things on building, or yeah, it's really much more advanced. And there is something with Unity we made, sorry for the clarity. So it's just tracking your space, adding virtual things around you, and skip here. That's really interesting. Yeah, it's a really interesting stuff. Interesting new features. It's sometimes difficult to work on those new things because it's new. So the documentation always moves. You discover bugs. You're like sometimes lost. You never work in this language, but yeah, it's just you have to stay curious. Any other question about the code or whatever? Yeah. The yeah.
Example you showed us, I'm just curious about the final file size for that.
For that, so the final file size without 3GS, I can find that easily. It's that one. It's we will find there. Yes, 8 kilobit, but you have to think about 3GS behind, which is like 800 kilobytes maybe.
Well, if it's gzip, you gotta, that all servers usually gzip. You gotta like turn on that setting so it could get down to like 200 kilobytes.
Yeah, you can build it.
With a project like that, it's not easy.
Wonder if you have a build file.
No, I don't have a build file for that. Yeah, I tried just later to doing that, but I don't finish yet. So I wasn't late. No, I don't succeed to have a build with that stage for now.
You guys use any build tools? We use Webpack.
Webpack, yeah, of course.
Webpack, any other tools of choice for buildings? I know there's rollout. There's a new build tool.
Parcel. I thought Parcel. It's
Parcel.
Popular in the world.
No. Active is the most popular one. Was bad, like you can use Apple or other. But Webkit is the way to go.
Yeah, we use Webpack, Vue.js, and all these other tools combined.
Yeah. To just complete your question. Don't look at my code. I have no linter of those kind of experiments because I don't want to think about if it's clean or not. Yeah. We have to be, when you experiment things, you have to force you to don't try to have something the most, the better code you can have because you just have to think to go faster. And if the client really appreciate that, for sure you will optimize it. But yeah, I don't want to teach to don't copy my style here because Yeah, it's just to show you things. So it's
A new style, guys. Called
sometimes you have to do that, and sometimes not. No, it's but for me, it's really important to don't force you to have good code style for those kind of things, because it's a constraint you don't really need, because yeah, the render should be your most important. Clients will don't see your code at distance, for sure. Any other question? The repo will be available. I think it's already available at this link. Another? Yeah, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just wondering, for example, if you're using Vue.js, is it possible to combine with TypeScript as well?
With
TypeScript?
TypeScript?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they are right now.
Vue.js is written in TypeScript and then compiled. But yeah,
you can definitely find things. Vue.js is actually really used a lot, and it's really well maintained. So I'm sure they have a TypeScript version, and it will come.
If you're not like being strict with how you're driving TypeScript, I mean it's completely compatible with TypeScript. So I mean libraries work.
Yeah. But yeah, if you use those kind of idea in development, for sure you have to have a more strict process, because WebGL can be a really request a lot of resources, so you have to optimize your code for sure. And yeah, it's really important to optimize it, but it's the point here, and I'm not the best one for that. Anything else?
The most cool or different sort of framework that you had to deal with for a project?
What is the most interesting things I did for?
Or coolest framework? I guess.
Coolest framework? Yeah, I often use Vue.js a lot.
Yeah. Jeremy loves 3JS. Most of his life is 3JS.
Yeah. But whatever I would say, whatever the framework you really like, the most important thing when you do things like that again, it's the render itself. For instance, actually, I have to work with Unity, which is totally different, but I start to like it. But one day I will go back to web, so I will say, okay, even if I like Unity, I have to go back and develop something for the web. So even if I really appreciate some of them, sometimes for the concept and for the design solution you should do, you have to find just the best tool. I'm not sure to be clear, but yeah, okay. But you also have Pixie.js for 2D thing, which is a really good frameworks. Let's go to the examples. Filter, where I can find good demo. But yeah, it's a framework for 2D things. A lot of game was made with that. I mean, on the browser. Yeah.
It's great for 2D.
Yeah, really great for 2D right now.
2D, we'll go to Pixie, even if we just want some
WebGL
shaders. In like a flat thing, we use Pixie. We use 3JS, but Pixie is just 2D. Although it does use WebGL, right? So it has Pixie is great because you know it will work exactly. It will look exactly the same on the WebGL render and on Canvas render. It's more performant on the WebGL render, but inside the code it abstracts and you can choose what render you want to go with. For example, you can support devices that don't have WebGL. It was useful when iOS, for example, didn't have WebGL, so you create like a WebGL site with Pixie, which is really performant, and then you can still fall back to Canvas, which is just hardware accelerated, but it's not GPU. It's not WebGL. But internally, it figures things out and it makes it. Can you really say only one? Because I noticed you're using quite a few different 2D frameworks, JS and 2JS and all these things. Yeah. So do you ever mix them together? Is it, or do you tend to just stick with one framework for project? Yeah, you kind of have to, because it like grabs the context of the canvas and starts drawing on it. Of course, you can kind of hijack it and let different frameworks draw on the canvas, but then you'll end up with a mess, because there's some frameworks that just clear the canvas at frame. Some frameworks don't, so you usually don't. Like, for example, you can use physics engines with any visual framework. So you can use Matter.js with Pixie or 2JS with P5, because it's all abstracted. All it gives you, any physics framework doesn't actually tie you into any, well, I wouldn't say any, but usually they don't. It's all like just calculations, and then like we didn't use Matter. Well, we first used Matter.js for that one, but then we found that it wasn't performing really well, and it was kind of jittery. So Jeremy switched it to P2JS. Yeah. So that's a physics framework, but this is rendered with is it Pixie?
Yeah, Pixie.
Yeah. So the 2D rendering is done with Pixie, but we could have just chosen different.
Yeah.
Like
I started from scratch,
or just vanilla.
That's also possible. Just longer. And if you have to take care of your file size, for sure, you have to think about it. Yeah, experimenting is also a good thing to test new things. If you wonder maybe that one will be better, try it, and you will see if you prefer that one to another one. Yeah, I try for these things. I try different physics engines to find the best one, and I often try new technologies like some letters. It's a good excuse to try to have like a huge number of mesh and try to keep it performant. So yeah, experimenting is also a good excuse to find something new and something you can bring later on a specific project, like that, a 3D physics, yeah, etc., etc. Oh yeah, sorry.
One more question. What percentage of your time do you spend doing inspiration and sketches in comparison to coding?
Inspiration, often I did that during the day, like on Instagram or things like that. I don't really have a specific process. I can say it's daily things. Like I keep inspiration, I save them on interest. I have some kind of way to save them. For instance, I have a Tumblr to save things I like, to have the possibility to grab them. So it's a constant work, a constant process. We give you the possibility to go quicker and quicker. So it's a long process, but it's good. And for prototyping, it depends on your work you have to do. I did that at home sometimes. Like I have free times, I take time just to play with something else. When I saw a tutorial, I always try to create something with it. Just don't only watch it, but also create something with this new technology to keep the creative process. And after that, it depends. At work, I try to have some time to doing that. I often request Max to give me some time to prototype things because he knows it can be really useful for us in long term. But when we have like a project to develop, I just don't do that. So it's flexible. It's like when I have time, and because also I like it, I do it myself at home. But it's often graphic things, so I don't code. Sometimes I have a list of things I want to try and to test. Really wrong, but having some tools like that to save your inspiration and idea can be to keep inspired. And yeah, that's really it. And yeah, you see, more the time comes and more I can have some a good culture of what we can do, what we can go. I also try to go. Creative people, of course, not try to go in different, not only website, like going museum, going to different activities. Everything can be inspiring, even for developers. Yeah. So yeah, thanks a lot for coming. What do you? I can answer you, yeah, for sure. I can answer 2 questions. I'm done. So, what do you thinking to?
Right.
I can talk to you.
Thank
You will probably don't understand. My Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
So everybody, just follow us for more updates on creative coding meetups.
So it's my Twitter. That's for you.
I was.
Also,
Yeah.
draw code. Can you click on draw code? So that's
It's full.
Oh, it's full.
Yeah,
Oh,
if you click register, I don't think you can do it anymore.
that's nice.
Anyway,
But it's.
Welcome. If you click
I'm
here.
sure Matt's gonna come back. It seems like it's sold out. So.
if you click buy ticket right now,
Yeah, but he will come back in any way.
it will
So
say it's sold out online.
yeah, but it's yeah.
Maybe a demo, but yeah, his tools are freely available for you guys to use.
Oh, you don't have
We created a
Yeah, that's
hashtag, created coding TL. If you want to play around with the repo, just like record your videos and you can tweet with the hashtag. Yeah.
and don't be shy about your creation.
Yeah,
what you do.
we
Everyone has to start somewhere, and if you see my previous and my whole experiment are online too, and I just push them. It's a community to start to really grow, so it's a really good community, and feel free to participate in those new creative code, creative developer. And then where is the hashtag? I don't know.
It's created.
Creative, no button?
Creative
No,
coding.
no, this one.
Yeah, okay.
Creative coding deal.
Yeah.
But thanks
Thank you.
everybody for coming out. If you have any questions or want to ask us anything, stick around or ask right now. But yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot more of these. If you guys are interested, it's fun for us. I'm sure it's fun for you guys too, and we'll try to get a bigger space so we can fit a lot of people. We had like 40 people on the list, but we got like half. We're good for our events. But yeah, we'll definitely need bigger space next time.
And present yourself. Go and present on Friday.
And yeah,
Yeah, if you want, like, I think lots of you, when you do introduction, we are very like we would love to hear from you. Just let us know.
yeah, if you have cool projects you're working on, if you have any friends who are doing cool stuff or want to talk about some of their projects or anything they're doing on the site that's creative coding related, just give us a shout and we'll have some guest speakers all the time because I can only speak for so much.
Please give us some feedback.
All right.
There is more beer.
Yeah, there's more beer.